Yeah.
Hey, what's up, Talking2 here, and for today's video, welcome back to another Smash discussion topic, where we're going to be talking about Smash characters and movesets. Now, Smash is a huge crossover with different variety of characters to play as, but there are some characters out there that pretty much has the same exact moveset, or either just feels sort of generic in when it comes to its playstyle and all, which is why we're going to be revamping some characters' moveset and how we can, make the character feel more like how the character is in their series respectively. If you don't know what a revamp does, it's pretty much a character, fixing a character's moveset. Whether it's from a fighter that has the same moveset ever since their first appearance, or pretty much has their moveset slightly tweaked, or just feels pretty much the same as it is. Which is why in this video, we're going to be talking about some characters. We're not going to be talking about all of them, because I do think there are some fighters out there that has at least some movesets that make sense, but I do want to keep some of them, and I'm also excluding the DLC fighters, because all DLC fighters for the first and second Fighters Pass has been so unique that they don't really need a revamp. But there are some characters that at least deserves to at least get some recognition when it comes to fixing their movesets. And you know what, I do want to talk about this, and it's been a while since I've made some sort of video like this, and so with that, let's not waste time, and let's get started with the revamp and replacing the moveset of some characters in Smash Ultimate. Okay, the first character I'm definitely going to get out of the way, and that's basically Sonic the Hedgehog. Ever since Brawl, Sonic has been using spin dashes ever since his first appearance, and that makes me question of why it hasn't been changed. I mean, I get Brawl. From what I heard, it turns out that Sakurai and the Smash team has gotten the license to Sega's rights to Sonic a bit too late when Brawl was still, at its launch date, which is kind of why his moveset felt a bit rushed, and most of it were just spin dashes. And that's really the reason why he doesn't appear until the end of Subspace Emissary. But even then, in Smash 4, his moveset still feels kind of the same when it comes to spin dashes. And Ultimate, even though this is his third appearance, it's still the same. Now, how can we make his moveset more differently? Well, in my opinion, I do want to say that Sonic's moveset could be taken from Sonic Battle. That one, I think, Game Boy Advance game from the early 2000s that came out. I do think there are some, because, I mean, to be honest, Sonic Battle is basically what it is, a fighting game featuring Sonic characters. And in that game, Sonic had way more of a unique moveset than just spin dashes. And even if they did keep the spin dashes, I do want to say that they might have to keep that for his dance special, since that's what he does in the 2D Sonic games. Overall, I had to get this out of the way, because I do think Sonic is kind of one of the most poorest represented franchises in Smash Bros. When it comes to fighters, moveset, and basically stages, and sometimes content. That's just how I feel about it, and I was recommended to somebody when it comes to Sonic having its Sonic Battle moveset and playstyle. Now, throughout the entire video, there might be some Echo Fighters that I will mention throughout it, and one of them would be Dark Samus. Now, Echo Fighter as a concept, I do love how it's very unique when it comes to it. Like, an Echo Fighter is a way to, not let fans be angry when it comes to a character taking a spot, even when they have the same exact moveset. Dark Samus is an Echo Fighter to Samus, which makes sense, but I do think she has way more of a unique moveset when she first appeared in Metroid Prime 3 Echoes, and I think it was Metroid Prime 3. I can't recall where she appeared, but because if you don't know, back in Smash 4, Dark Samus was an assist trophy, and in that assist trophy, Dark Samus had way more unique moves than her Echo Fighter counterpart, which makes me question of why she was considered to be an Echo Fighter, because in this video, there are some Echo Fighters that at least deserve to have some sort of different moveset than just being a clone fighter. Look, I love Echo Fighters as a concept, but if they're gonna bring back that feature in the next Smash game, which I don't think it will happen, I do think that if they're gonna bring back Echo Fighters, there are going to be some characters that returns for Echo Fighters, while there are some characters that at least needs to return, but with a different moveset. Dark Samus is one of them, and Dark Samus, when she was in the Assist Trophy, had way more of a unique moveset. Now, I have personally never played the Metroid series, so I'm not sure what moveset Dark Samus would have, but all I can say is that maybe she can take some moves from her Assist Trophy counterpart. Now, when it comes to Zelda representation, young Link and Toon Link feels sort of like a semi-clone to Link, and that's kind of the point of it. But in my opinion, I do think that these two Links feels sort of like a waste. I really personally would have wanted, characters like Impa, Tetra, or some other character than just Links. Heck, maybe one of the 4 champions from Breath of the Wild. And the thing is, young Link represents back then, when he first appeared in Melee, Ocarina of Time. And in that time, Ocarina of Time was one of the biggest Zelda games back when the GameCube was such a huge hit, and especially represented Ocarina of Time with Zelda, Link, and Ganondorf and all. But young Link seems sort of like a semi-clone to Link, and instead of just representing his moveset from Ocarina of Time, I personally would love to see a moveset from young Link based on Majora's Mask, because in Majora's Mask, the whole point of the game is where Link, I never personally played Zelda games, but from what I've seen, Majora's Mask is basically Link using different variety of masks to transform into Links. He could transform into Goron Link, Deku Link, and one of the biggest ones yet, Fierce Deity Link. And even though Fierce Deity Link is represented in one of Link's alternate costumes, I do think that young Link needs to have a revamped moveset where he can use some of the masks from Majora's Mask so he can transform it. And that's what makes the character unique about young Link instead of just him being a clone to Link overall. And now that I think about it, Ganondorf also needs a change. Ever since Melee, he still feels like a Captain Falcon clone. Now, even though Ganondorf still, has gotten back its Ocarina of Time design since Melee, and even though they added the sword from Ocarina of Time, he still feels like Captain Falcon, which makes me confused of why he still has that. Because the Ganondorf I know from the Zelda series, from what I've seen, there's no way he's a Captain Falcon clone. Because I do think he should take some movesets from Hyrule Warriors. Not Age of Calamity, but one of the Hyrule Warrior games. Where in that Ganondorf, he's way more of a beast with its playstyle and moveset than this Ganondorf. Look, I really love the character, but I just wish he needs justice on his moveset. I don't want him to be a Captain Falcon clone anymore. Now, like I stated before, there are some characters that at least needs to be returning as an Echo Fighter, but there are some characters that were Echo Fighters have to return to at least be its own fighter, and Daisy is the next character. I love Daisy as a character. She's one of my favorite Mario characters of the franchise and all, but I don't really understand how she's a clone to Peach. I get it. Peach pretty much had an alternate costume color swap for Daisy back then, but Daisy as a fighter is a great thing. But I do wish she has way more of a different moveset than Peach. Instead of her final smash being Daisy Blossom, I do think some of her movesets would be something related to sports equipment. I mean, that's kind of the point, because I do think Daisy Daisy was in a spin-off, and Daisy spin-offs in those games is pretty much her using different variety of sports, such as, I guess, you can use baseball, or possibly tennis. Sure, that would be something for Waluigi's moveset, but Daisy at least deserves to be something else more than just Peach's clone, and I do think she needs something else. That's kind of the reason why I included her in one of the revamped movesets in the first place. And speaking of Peach, Peach also needs a moveset revamp. Now, if you don't know, Peach actually had her own installment back then for the Nintendo DS, known as Super Princess Peach, where in that game, she uses her own parasol, which has a name. I think the parasol's name was Perry, and in that game, it turns out her moveset and playstyle in that game used to be, different emotions, and each different emotion shows that pretty much, affects how you play. I can't remember how Super Princess Peach plays back then. I remember playing that game back then, but from what I've seen, it has more of a different playstyle in that Peach than this one, and I pretty much am sick of her final smash at this point. Look, I get Peach Blossom is pretty much, a cool final smash, but it's pretty lame in my opinion, and I just want her moveset to at least change a bit. Okay, I know what you're all going to say about Linomac. I get it. His recovery, after all. And I do agree with it. Like, that's kind of the reason why I never play Linomac that often. The problem I had with this character was the fact of his moveset and recovery. Look, I love the recovery and all, but I love Linomac as a character, and his moveset pretty much is very strong, but his recovery is very, very bad when it comes to it. And that's some of the complaints I've seen from the community when it comes to to Lillimac. Like, he's a strong fighter, but he needs to his recovery to at least be updated, and like something that can at least recover properly. Alright, there are some Fire Emblem characters that really needs to at least needs a moveset revamp from what I've heard. But in my opinion, I do think that there are some Fire Emblem characters that has something more unique about it. Mart and Roy are the first two Fire Emblem characters, so they are both unique in their own way. Ike is also unique when it comes to him, him very, heavy like, and especially his giant sword and all. And Robin has a magic system that pretty much uses different magic spells rather than just him using his sword. I mean, he does use his sword, but it's rarely used. And Chrom, even though he's an Echo Fighter of Roy, his Final Smash and moveset is at least a bit different than like, he's at least decently different from any other Fire Emblem character. And Corrin and Violet, both of them, I guess the point of their inclusion in Smash Brothers was that their unique moveset. And so that leaves just Lucina. So what was the reason of why I added Lucina and she was one of the few Echo Fighters? Well, the reason why I put a Lucina is in there. Now, look, I will never play Fire Emblem Awakenings. I've only played Fire Emblem Three Houses, but not Awakening. But from what I heard from the lore, it turns out that Lucina plays way more differently than just a Mart clone. And I get it. Her whole point of the character in Fire Emblem Awakening was that she takes a disguise of Mart. But from the lore, from what I heard, it turns out that she has way more of a unique playstyle. I'm not sure what to say about it, but all I can say is that Lucina deserves at least way more of a different moveset and playstyle than Mart's. Now, this is a character that has gotten the same exact moveset probably ever since either the first Smash game or Brawl, or maybe it was Melee. I cannot recall, but Mario, being one of the first ever characters to be appearing in Smash Brothers, at least needs some moveset changes. Like, I'm surprised he has never used the hammer at all in one of his movesets, because the hammer is part of the Mario series, and it's specifically the Mario and Luigi RPG series, and especially, and I'm very surprised that they haven't gotten Cappy as one of the movesets. Cappy does make an appearance in Ultimate, but only as a cameo in one of Mario if you use the up B and one of his taunts. In my opinion, I do want to say that Cappy would make an interesting moveset when it comes to it. Like, if you control other characters just temporarily for, I guess, about 5 to 10 seconds, then that would be a really cool moveset. And the hammer needs to at least replace, I think the hammer needs to replace Flood. Look, I get Flood is a great character in Mario Sunshine, but I do want to say that the hammer makes a very more unique playstyle to Mario's character than just the Flood, in my opinion, which is why he's on the list in the first place. And now that I think about it, Luigi also needs a revamp. Despite Luigi being my #1 favorite Mario character, I do want his playstyle to change in Ultimate. The Poltergust is amazing, and I do want to say, and I love him as a grab. But one of the main parts back in the Mario and Luigi RPG series, specifically Superstar Saga, was him using the Thunderballs. The Thunder element is what he uses while Mario uses the red Fireballs. I do love that Luigi uses Fireballs, but I do want to see Sakurai and the Smash team give him the Fire element, and maybe his Final Smash could be a bit different. I love the Poltergust, but sometimes I do want to see the moveset being maybe something related to Mr. L back in Super Paper Mario. And now that I think about it, just give Luigi the hammer as well, because I mean he does use the hammer as well in the Mario series. So if Mario can have the hammer, so can Luigi. And that's the main part from what I want from Luigi. The Thunderballs are like one of the most unique parts about what makes the Mario and Luigi series pretty unique about it. Okay, I find it odd that I just put 3 Mario characters in a row, but Wario, in my opinion, also needs a huge change. Look, I get WarioWare is a great representative, but in my personal opinion, I do want to see a character moveset of Wario that has a playstyle from Wario Land. Wario Land, I really don't understand how Wario Land seems so forgotten, but I'm surprised that Sakurai and the Smash team hasn't given any Wario Land movesets to the character itself. And, I do want to keep a few WarioWare movesets, but I do want to add a few Wario Land related things just because that this was Wario's first ever playable appearance in a series, because Wario Land is a good way to represent Smash Brothers and Wario himself instead of just having, him just using crude humor and fart jokes. And just the endings off, Pokemon Trainer. Now, Ivysaur, now a 3-in-1 fighter is such a great thing about Pokemon Trainer. But there is one character that I personally would love to see change, because he was his standalone fighter back in Smash 4. Charizard. Charizard, in my opinion, had way more of a unique moveset back in Smash 4. And ever since he came back as part of Pokemon Trainer's character swap, I do want to say that maybe some of his moves can at least be changed. One of them being, I guess, his neutral special is way too identical to Bowser's neutral special, where he just breathes fire, which is why I want his moveset to be Flame Buster. And now that I think about it, his final smash could be a bit different. Now, they can keep triple finish, but I want Charizard to at least change himself into Mega Charizard X. That was his final smash back in Smash 4, but it was kind of sad and disappointing that Charizard has his, didn't turn into Mega Charizard X at all. Because, I mean, if Lucario transformed into Mega Lucario in his final smash in Ultimate, then why not Charizard as well? That's kind of the only reason why I put Pokemon Trainer in here, because Charizard has such a unique moveset that I really wish that, I kind of wish that all the Pokemon Trainer's Pokemons are pretty separate. And that, my friend, is all of the moveset characters. Well, not all of them. These are some of the characters that needs to at least be a revamp. I get it. Smash Brothers is such an amazing game when it comes to crossovers and fighters. But when it comes to its playstyle, there are at least some characters that has to have their moveset change, or at least something that, tweak them a bit to, stay true to their own series. And so with that, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. If I miss any sort of fighters that at least need to have a moveset change, then I want to know all your opinions down below. What characters do you personally want to see have themselves a different moveset? I want to know all your opinions down below. And so with that, leave a like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell for more videos, follow my Twitter, and I'll see you guys next time. And remember this, once a legend, always a legend. Like your bell cut.